Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And we're here at the beautiful Pilsener Haus and Beer Garden, located at 1422 Grand Street. And you're going to want to stay tuned in our next segment as Daria Peace from At Hoboken Eats is going to be trying some more dishes. So stay tuned for that. But I am super excited and honored today that we have a very special guest on the Pulse, and that is New Jersey District 8 Congress candidate, Mr. Rob Menendez Jr. How are you today, sir?
Peter, great to be with you.
It's great having you. I mean, he came here in the rain. I mean, we almost had a swim down here, but he made it. He said, for Peter B, he's here.
I did. We swam here. There's a canal outside the Pilsener House, and we made it in one piece. I gave you a wet hug, and now we're on the air, so it's all good.
I'm still not that dry out, but that's okay. Rob, obviously both of your parents have been in public service their whole careers. Your mother's a retired public school teacher, and of course your father is currently a U.S. Senator. But I don't think the folks at home know much about Rob Menendez Jr. I was wondering if you can explain some of your background.
Sure. So I grew up in Hudson County, Union City, New Jersey. Went to college at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, law school at Rutgers in Newark. Been a practicing lawyer for the last 10.5 years. For the last year, I've had the honor of serving on the Board of Commissioners for the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. And actually, a little Hoboken tidbit, I'm on the Board of Trustees for the Hudson School here in town.
Is that your alma mater, I believe?
Yeah, I went there for high school, went to Union City Public School from kindergarten through 8th grade, and then had the good fortune to go to the Hudson School, and now have the opportunity to give back and serve as a trustee there. So, I've been involved on different campaigns, been involved in the community, but excited for this opportunity and excited to talk with you about it.
Absolutely. And Rob, what would you say was your motivation to take the next step and run for Congress? Because it looks like you're very, very busy. So.
Yeah, well, listen, you mentioned sort of both my parents having been in public service, what I consider public service, being a teacher and being an elected official. And that's been inside both me and my sister, growing up and seeing the value of being engaged in your communities and trying to make a change. And I think the last several years have been extremely difficult for a lot of people. And when Congressman Series made the decision that he was going to retire, I asked myself, could I be of service to the district, to the place I've always called home? And when I was looking at all the challenges we're facing, the challenges that families, workers, small businesses are facing, I felt like it was a time to be actively engaged, and that it couldn't wait for someone else to do the work, that it was incumbent upon me, upon people of our age and vintage, to do the work ourselves. Because the way I look at it is, whatever we don't resolve, the work that we don't finish is left to my daughter, who turns 2 this month. It's left to the next generation. And there are a lot of challenges, and we have to work towards resolving those issues.
All right, absolutely phenomenal. Now, District 8 here in New Jersey is the most densely populated district, probably in the country, since New Jersey is the most densely populated state, and of course Hudson County is the most, of course District 8 encompasses more than Hudson County, but Hudson County is the majority of District 8. What would you say, and it's very diverse, I should say. I mean, I believe 55% are of Hispanic background in the county. What would you say would be your largest goals going forward to represent such a large population of people?
Yeah, sure. So it's an incredibly diverse district in a wonderful way. Listen, I think we have to focus on the near term in terms of the challenges from the last 2 years in the pandemic and all the challenges that's brought upon our communities. You have to look at early childhood education, sort of child development, and the disruption the last 2 years have caused. You have to look at working families and figuring out ways to ensure that they have the foundation to move forward in a productive way. You have to look at access to affordability, both in healthcare, housing, education. I think you have to deal with the short-term issues that have risen to the sort of top of everyone's concern, because the last 2 years have been so wildly disruptive, and you have to deal with that, because I think that's a lot of the pain and angst that people are feeling derives from those last 2 years, and there's still uncertainty about the future. So I think you have to sort of deal with that short-term issue, because if dealt with properly, I think it sets up a wonderful foundation to have a more productive future moving forward. I think long-term, when you think about this district and you think about the country, coming up with a comprehensive plan for immigration, one that provides a pathway to citizenship, is extremely important, would make a fundamental difference for a lot of folks in the 8th Congressional District. And I think you can balance short-term, long-term goals, and really ensure that you're impacting in a positive way the lives of the folks in the 8th Congressional District.
Unbelievable. And you know, everything you mentioned obviously needs support on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, sure.
And if you look at Washington, the political climate between both parties is as toxic as ever, unfortunately. If elected, how do you believe to kind of bridge, let me repeat that, excuse me, Rob. How do you see yourself bridging that divide between both parties?
Yeah, so I think it's bringing New Jersey common sense down to Washington. I think when you look at the electorate, they want things, they want results, they want solutions to their problems, and they don't really care how you get there, whether you work across the aisle or not. I think the main principle is driving change, positive change for folks in the district, and working through the toxic environment that currently exists in Washington. But each person has to do their part and be willing to listen, be willing to sit down and have difficult conversations, but with the goal of coming up with sustainable long-term change that will really drive a meaningful benefit for folks in the district.
Absolutely. Well, the election is June 7th, Tuesday, June
7th.
I'm going to leave the floor open to you now with any type of remarks that you would like to make to our audience, our very large audience. Hopefully you're still watching out there. And possibly where they can find you on social media, if you have a website, because I'm sure your platform will be on there as well. So.
Sure. Well, first, Peter, thank you for having me on. It was good to be on with you. What I would say to the people in the 8th Congressional District is there's a lot of work to do. I believe we can get the work done. I'm running to be a strong representative for the folks of the 8th Congressional District, and I'm asking for your support. We're at robmenendez.com and on social media, robmenendez4NJ. So hope to see you there and hope to see you out on the campaign trail.
Absolutely. Now I have to kind of leave you off a little bit of a fun question, as I like
sure.
to say. You grew up in Union City, and
that's right.
You're now living in Jersey City.
That's right.
What do you love most about Jersey City?
It has an energy. It has a vibrant energy. I love urban areas. It's where I grew up. I sort of feel comfortable here. I love the diversity. Jersey City is a wonderfully diverse place, and feeling that energy is an incredible thing. And I want to continue to make sure that we're able to build those types of environments and ensure that people can benefit from the type of communities that we have here in Hudson County.
Yeah. Really, really appreciate you coming on. Rob Menendez Jr., please vote Tuesday, June 7th in the Democratic primary. Polls are open 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Early voting, all that good stuff will be going on. New Jersey congressional candidate for District 8. Do not forget, Rob Menendez Jr. Thanks again.
Thank you, sir.
I really appreciate it. Folks, when we come back, we'll have some food on this table. Too bad Rob couldn't have any, but, somebody's got to enjoy it. We will be right back. Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook and our Instagram pages by searching The Pulse with Peter B. and like and follow us on each of those platforms. We're constantly updating those pages with previews of each week's segments and cool stories. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com. Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. We want to thank Rob Menendez Jr., the last segment, for taking time off his busy campaign trail and joining us today. And I'm not even supposed to be in this seat for this segment because normally this is Daria Peace's segment, but who's usually hosting this. But actually, a member of the Beer Garden couldn't be here tonight, so therefore, Peter B takes the seat. Daria, what do you think of that?
Thought I had my full-time hosting gig back, but you know what? As long as I'm here with 3 plates of food in front of me, I'm content. We'll be fine.
I was going to say, Nick from the Beer Garden, you're allowed to miss any of these shows ever, because why wouldn't I want to try this with Daria, right? All right, Daria. So I actually have the notes today.
Okay.
By the way, we've been getting so many emails about our new Places segment.
It's been fun.
People are asking us for recommendations. I'm just going to start forwarding them to you.
Okay, great.
All right.
I'm going to start Hoboken Eats and Travels.
Hoboken Eats Travels. Exactly.
I have a good place I'm going to next month that we can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have to stay tuned for that,
stay tuned.
folks. Yeah, exactly. She really is our Places insider. All right. I think we should start with something that's refreshing. So, from what I'm told from the Beer Garden, this is kind of their summer spring menu.
Okay.
That they're trying to get a little more fresh because the weather's getting fresh.
Yes.
Although it's a tornado outside
Yes.
today, but different story for a different time.
This
So-
looks like it's summer on a plate.
Amen, right? What that is the watermelon and tomato salad, which comes with feta cheese, fresh basil, arugula, toasted pumpkin seeds, and balsamic glaze.
Wow.
Daria, you need to get in. Here's my thing. I can't tell the. Oh, now
Trying
I
to get in.
different story for a different time.
Stand
Yeah.
up for this one.
Exactly. Okay, she's actually standing up for the first
I
time.
want a bite of
She
everything.
wants a bite of heaven, she said.
So we have
Go ahead.
the cheese, the watermelon, the tomato, a little bit of arugula, some balsamic. We're gonna dip a little extra.
All right. Oh, here we go. Refreshing, right? Yeah. Excuse me, folks. Places Insider, Daria,
Whoa.
formerly DeLucia, now Peace.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Because the feta just kind of cuts it a little bit. The watermelon's super, super fresh, but the cheese just adds something like a nice little creamy layer into it. But then the tomato has its own. All three are really flavorful, but who would have thought they go together?
Right?
With a little balsamic on top. Wow!
Phenomenal.
Wow!
Phenomenal, right?
Phenomenal.
And you're sitting on a hot summer day, in the beautiful garden,
Outside.
right? This is the perfect dish, in my opinion.
This is really nice because, like I said, the watermelon's sweet and refreshing and cool. The tomato has a little bit more of like, tomato and feta mixed together has a little bit more of like a savory flavor. So together with the balsamic,
Phenomenal. All right. Well, while she's chewing, we're going to move on to our next dish here, which I know everybody's looking at the ribs, but we're going to save that to last because Daria.
I'm gonna be a mess. That's gonna be the very end of the show.
Exactly. And by the way, salute, as we like to say, the Pilsener Haus Original, one of my favorite beers in town. As you can see, folks, I'm not eating, I'm drinking.
I do
Right.
both.
All right. This is a flatbread.
This looks delicious.
And-
And,
and-
who would have thought you could get a flatbread at a beer garden too, right?
I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. But they put their own little twist on it.
Yes.
Kudos to Chef Carlos and Chef Mike, coming up with these amazing dishes. And this is the flam chuckin, they call it. And I'm pretty sure I'm mispronouncing that.
Sounds good to me.
It comes with cream fresh onions, applewood smoked bacon, chives on a flatbread. And you know what? The salad was a little too healthy for me. I'm taking a bite out of this one,
Wow,
Daria.
look at this.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Look how thin it is.
So thin.
Oh my God. It
so
looks
thin.
so
But like
good.
lots
I'm
piled
sure.
on top.
Oh my God, that's good. Oh my God, that creme fraiche is so good.
Oh my God.
What is the first thing that comes to your mind?
Those onions on top. Oh my gosh. First of all,
Creme fraiche onions.
nice texture to the dough. I like that a lot. The creme fraiche has this nice creamy consistency, and then you get the kick from the onion, and then that salty from the bacon. That's really good.
Flam chuckin', folks. That's the way you say it. Oh my! Oh, look at her! Look at her! Look at her! Who needs the ribs when? No napkins. No, I'm kidding around. Daria, another, I think, summery kind of meal. You're not feeling something heavy like
No.
maybe like a bratwurst or something like that. You go for a flam chuckin'.
And like I'm envisioning this too, something that if I'm like coming for lunch or dinner or something, I would order this for myself, but I'm also coming with a bunch of friends. This is the perfect sharing dish as well. Cut it up into some smaller pieces, everyone gets a bite. It is really, really good. Again, unique little mixture too.
Yeah, I'm going for another piece. Yeah.
It's gonna be gone in 5 minutes, this whole thing.
Sorry, crew. No food for you tonight, right?
Nope.
Okay. I'm yelling at her about napkins. Now I have to do one too. All right. We're down to the main event over here. Well, we had, of course, I would say our starters. Let's
We
just say.
eased our way into it. We started with the light, kind of refreshing, healthy, eased our way into another light-ish dish.
Exactly. We're going to move everything over because we're going to have fun making a
Bringing
mess over here.
The heavy hitter.
Of course, baby back ribs.
Whoa.
Baby back ribs comes with corn on the cob, and Daria, I got even, oh, she loves her pickles. Look at her go. I got an even bigger surprise for you. That is homemade coleslaw.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I'm going for a fry.
I'm going for the coleslaw.
The fries you can get all year round here at the Pills. Oh my God. She was not joking around with that bite, let me tell you that much. Talk to me about the coleslaw.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. You can tell it's homemade. End of story. You can tell it's homemade. There's a difference. You can tell. It's not dripping in anything. It's perfectly coated. It's delicious, crunchy. It tastes like they just made it 5 seconds ago and brought it out.
Oh my God.
I hate when it gets soggy because it's been sitting for so long. This is crunchy. I do another bite if we don't have to crunch.
Yeah, exactly. All right, here we go. Now we're gonna dig into these
cleanse the palate.
barbecue. Yeah, please cleanse your palate after the coleslaw. You know, with of course a great Pilsener Haus original, baby back ribs. This again is on the spring summer menu. So.
But we keep saying this is like, oh, the bigger heavy hitting dish. Baby back ribs are like the epitome of summer.
I agree.
It's like
Barbecue.
they go together, like summer and baby back ribs. You can't and corn on the cob. Like, come on.
Completely
This
agree.
is literally.
Take one in. I'm taking one in too.
How do we
Oh my
this?
God! Look at it there.
We have to
Oh, we're
cut it.
flipping it off. Oh, we do have to cut it. Okay, I'm gonna have you do the honors.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
All right.
All right, now she's standing again, folks.
I am.
mean, like
This
you know,
has never happened on the Pulse.
I know she's. You know, I mean, I'm nervous because Daria has a knife this close to me, but you know,
I'm directed on the food. Don't take my rib though. That's
I'm not
that
gonna
would be
take
the
your
only
rib.
problem.
That's all you. The rib you just cut. Oh, you cut two
I
of them.
cut two.
You're very polite. You know that.
That's what I'm here
I
for.
love it. All right, let's do a little
Cheers.
cheers with the rib there. You know.
Wow,
Oh,
first
my
of all,
God.
look how thick this
Oh my
is.
God! Oh, look at the smoke coming out. I
Yeah,
love
it
it.
smells delicious too.
Okay, I'm going. My God. That is right off the bone, folks. That's probably one of the best ribs I've had in Hoboken. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't even care what's on my face right now.
Me neither.
This is fall off the bone, crisp on top, tender meat on the bone. The barbecue sauce.
All over my mouth. I know. Take over. Wow. This.
Sweet. Sweet and not overdone.
No.
It's the perfect amount.
Look at the way it fell right off the bone, folks. That is unbelievable.
Oh my God.
That is so good. I'm being a wimp here and I'm taking a napkin. I'm taking a napkin. You just want to finish that?
I would drink that barbecue sauce. I want to ask for a side when I come back and I'm going to dip my fries in it.
Oh, there's just ketchup.
Yeah.
Sorry. I thought they gave us barbecue sauce. What do you think of the baby back ribs?
20 out of 10.
Wow.
20 out of 10. I don't
Great
know what
thing
I don't know
about
what I'm
this
going to come back for first. All feel different. They're different moods. You know what I mean?
Sorry, I was just drinking a little bit more because why not when there's a beer? I mean,
I haven't had ribs in a very, very long time.
is that a true story?
That is a true statement. Those I'm going to be having a lot more of. That's
Daria
also a true
Peace.
statement.
Unbelievable. From @Hoboken Eats, you want to follow her? This is the first time I said your handle actually today because we were talking about you traveling all over
I
the
know.
place. But she will be doing a lot more traveling to the beer garden to have these dishes.
All of this, and I will continue drinking at the beer garden.
Amen. Thank you so much. We look forward to having you on a future show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we will be right back. Peter Biancamano back with you. Don't forget to watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Files Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. Also on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, and you can also binge watch all of our old shows. Who doesn't want to keep watching The Pulse with Peter B? We'll see you there. Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. And boy, am I stuffed. The members of the beer garden that didn't make it for the last segment, and I had to fill in to eat with Daria. I mean, I'm just like, thank you, because the food is delicious. Well, the man to my right, for all of you sports fans out there, needs absolutely no introduction. And we've been receiving your emails because everybody knows what I do part-time, full-time. This is what I do part-time. And they're like, we want Nelson on the Pulse. So you got him. Here he is, none other than former MLB pitcher and podcaster, I could say, correct, of Amazing But True, for the New York Post, that is. And that is Mr. Nelson Figueroa. Nelson, it's so great to have you here today.
My God, I haven't seen you in so long. It's pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID, right?
Pre-COVID since I've
Nelson
seen Peter.
Did the COVID beard. He also did
I
the
did
COVID
everything.
hair, as you
Yes.
can see, right?
My COVID curls are in full effect still.
Exactly. But he is representing, of course, his beloved New York Mets.
Absolutely.
Are you excited for the season?
I'm pumped. I'm not as pumped as I was just a week ago. We had Mookie Wilson on our show doing a preview of what's to come because he was down at spring training and how excited everybody was, and he loved the vibe that was down there. And then, of course, the news hits.
The news hits. Well, before we get to the news, the Mets did have a very, very, very active offseason. Of course, probably signing the best pitcher, would you say, that was on the free agent market by far in Max Scherzer. Of course, we received the news last week that him and DeGrom now are both suffering from injuries. Did you like what the Mets did this offseason?
I love what the Mets did this offseason. I felt like just when it seemed like nothing was happening and they lost out on Mats, remember that whole thing? And Steve Cohen went to Twitter and talked about, about his agency and, being a man of his word. And I was like, oh, this isn't good because players are going to see this and they're like, I'm not signing there. This guy's nuts. Next thing you know, he went big-time shopping on Black Friday. And even went on Cyber Monday and got even more pieces. So Cyber Monday happened to be Scherzer. On Black Friday, of course, it was Mark Canha. It was Starling Marte and Escobar. So you made the team a lot better right away. And all of a sudden, Met fans are thinking, wow, this is different. We're not used to this. We're used to bargain bin shopping. And now they went and got the marquee player out there for free agency. And you get an ace of all aces to have Max Scherzer lined up with Jacob deGrom. That'll happen hopefully in June, but you have Scherzer at least to start out.
That's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And it's so funny you said that because Steve Cohen really put his money where his mouth is. I mean, when he purchased the team, he said, look, I'm here to spend money. I'm here to win championships. Obviously, we're discussing the team with the two aces in. With both DeGrom and Scherzer healthy, is this team good enough to make a run?
Well, I think that's one of the biggest things is we kept saying, well, is the bullpen fortified? Don't you need more arms? You always need more arms, and you need health, and you need luck. You need all three of those things. But when you have a Max Scherzer, it's as if you got a starter and a reliever because he's able to give you such depth and quality of his starts that if you have him and DeGrom back-to-back, that's almost like 2 days where you don't need a reliever. Might need the closer to lock it down at the end, but that's about it. You got guys that are your horses, and you want to be able to have these guys at the end be as strong as they are in the beginning. So DeGrom getting hurt isn't necessarily, oh my God, what was we? Everybody else has now changed their thought process. And they're like, man, we get him back in June. He's going to be ready for the stretch running. He's going to be nice and fresh, so he's not going to be worn down.
Exactly, absolutely. And in looking at the National League here, do you think that the Mets, I guess, who do you see as being the Mets' biggest opposition that could possibly make a run for the NL pennant?
I mean, the top two that jump right off the page, of course, are the Braves. They made tremendous acquisitions last year at the right time. When the Mets decided to kind of fold their hand, the Braves went and doubled down. They went and got all those, the Duvall. They went and got Rosario. They went and got Soler. They went and got Jock Peterson. They let Jock Peterson go. They let Soler go. But insert now Ronald Acuna. They have Rosario back, and you see that mix of without Freddie Freeman, you're worried, right? Freddie Freeman's the leader. But I think with Acuna coming back and the team feeling like, man, we were a much worse off team last year to start out, that they're going to have a better chance this year. It's always going to come down to pitching. On the West Coast, of course, it's the Dodgers. And San Francisco shocked everyone.
Right.
But San Diego has seemed to always disappoint. Now, San Diego keeps making moves. They just keep, you know what I mean? They keep throwing their hand back in and reshuffling, trying to get more and more stars. They're still in the midst of making trades with San Diego. So I think they're one or two players, but they need the right chemistry to make that all work. Because they tried that a few years ago where they brought in all these all-stars, and by midway point they realized, this isn't going to work. So it'll be interesting to see how deep they can go.
Very, very interesting. Well, I'm going to put your back against our beautiful new banner here, Nelson. If the Mets stay healthy this season, where do you see them going?
I see them going all the way because you can ride those two horses. I'm from the era of Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling. What a difference they made just a year later because they were able to take that team, and you had to face those two guys. But not only face them, as starters, they were coming back and relieving and closing for the team. And so I think in this era of baseball where you have those kind of throwback starters, a guy like Scherzer who will want the ball to do that and help out the team in any way, I think those two guys, and that's not saying that the rest of the rotation is a slouch. If Carrasco comes back with a healthy elbow and he's able to pitch like he's been capable over the last 10 years, he's going to be fantastic. Taijuan Walker's dealing with a knee issue. Plus, he was an all-star in the first half, not so much of an all-star in the second half. So will the real Tyler Walker show up? Then you also have Tyler McGill, who's getting the opening day start. He was a nice find last year, and one time through the lineup, or one time through the league, I should say, rookies always have the advantage. It was that second time where he started to take a little bit of a beating. Let's see if he can make the adjustment and start pitching a little bit differently and not fall into such patterns that he did last year. He could be a tremendous X factor for this team down the stretch.
Well, you heard it here first from my man Figgy, Nelson Figueroa. Mets fans, get excited. Oh, yeah. All right, let's talk about the crosstown rivals, of course, the New York Yankees. A team that would normally do what the Mets did this past offseason, which was spend a lot of money, bringing top free agents. They brought in Anthony Rizzo, which was a great signing, but not much else. If you're a Yankee fan and you're looking at this roster, are you disappointed?
You know, with the Yankees, I think this new thing that they're doing, it's like addition by subtraction, right? You look at what the pieces were that they got rid of. Gary Sanchez. Right. When you talk about X factors, Yankee fans are tired of seeing Gary Sanchez be the reason why games are being lost, whether he strikes out 4 times or he can't block a ball there in the 8th and 9th inning. So they turned it over to Higgy as the starting catcher. That still is yet to be proven. Backups are a backup for a reason, right? And so we'll see how well he handles the staff. They know he's a better defensive catcher. They made a ton of little trades names that you don't know, which is not normal for the Yankees. Normally you would have thought Seager's going to be there, Freeman's going to be there, all the big names. Rizzo is a nice fit because he's already done it in a Yankee uniform. He fits right in with the Yankee motif. I think that's something that they're looking for, is that they're trying to keep that same culture that they had last year. It's still a winning culture. They just haven't won the big games.
I was just going to ask you that. I mean, the roster is still stacked,
yes,
as people say. I mean, there should be no reason why they couldn't be first place in that division, or maybe even win the AL pennant, correct?
Well, the one problem is that starting rotation.
Correct.
After Garrett Cole, Severino, it's always who's he going to be? Is he going to be the old Severino, or you have to worry about really monitoring his innings and his workload. After that, Jordan Montgomery is the best of the next 2 guys, and Nestor Cortez. It was real flashy and gimmicky, and the mustache and the timing things, all that. So Cortez, depending on if he's able to repeat what he did in the beginning as well, and avoid barrels. For him, it's not going to be about blowing people away, but if he can avoid the barrel and get some weak contact, get some easy outs, and go deep into ball games and not have to make it a bullpen day because he's only able to go 3 innings, and that'll be a huge key for the Yankees.
Yeah. Now, I asked you this about the National League. Who do you think are the teams in the American League that are the upper-class teams?
Well, now you look at a team that you said if only they had a little bit of pitching, if only they had a little bit more Toronto Blue Jays.
Unbelievable.
I mean, with
I
the
agree.
run production,
Yeah.
the run production that they're able to put up, they put up runs in bunches. That young nucleus that they have, that's going to be good for a long, long time. They went out and got several starters. They went out and fortified their bullpen. I think they're the team right now, for me, that's the scariest team in the American League. You also, are the Angels going to be able to turn the corner? You know, they went out and got a lot of pieces as well. They hopefully have a healthy Mike Trout. You've got Ohtani. You've got Syndergaard, who's throwing lights out right now.
Unbelievable.
So it'll be interesting to see how they use Syndergaard, because they already told him there's going to be an innings limit. They already told him that there was, they'll watch his workload, and there's going to be 6 starters. So they're trying to do the right thing, but at the same time, they want to win desperately, because you can't have Mike Trout in that uniform and not be able to make the playoffs.
All right. Well, a couple seconds left here, Nelson. Where do you see the Yankees going this season?
Unfortunately, I think they might be on the outside looking in.
Wow.
I hate, I'm not a Yankee
He's
hater.
not saying that because he's wearing a Met hat.
No. I'm not a Yankee hater.
No, you're not. You never were.
But I'm a realist, right? So unless they make moves, and they did the same thing last year, where they started out and they were able to kind of tread water for a while. So they have those guys that have been through the battles with them, but if Gleyber Torres is going to be that Gleyber Torres and not be able to hit 20, 30 home runs, I don't know how deep that lineup gets. The lineup isn't as scary, but I think a lot of unknowns is a good thing for the Yankees, because everybody kind of has been able to scout them and maximize on people's weaknesses. So we'll see what they're able to do, and if the pitching holds up. That's what it comes down to every team. If you have that starting pitching, and then you got the lockdown rotation, Chapman, can't falter the way he did last year.
Exactly. Well, tune in, folks. The season is long. Thank God we had a
Yes,
season.
I know.
And Nelson, do you promise that you're going to come back on the Pulse here?
Oh, try to keep me from here.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Nelson Figueroa, former MLB pitcher and current New York Post podcaster. I can never post podcaster. I'm getting it. Amazing but true. Check it out.
sir.
And I believe it's weekly, correct?
Yes, every Monday.
Every Monday. Make sure you check it out. Nelson, thank you so much. I
You
really
got it, Pete.
appreciate it. All right, folks. Join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. I'm Peter Biancamano. I hope you have a great week, everybody.